This is SIBN Radio. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube at Select USA TV. This is SIBN Radio.
Thank you so much for joining us for another edition of the Coach's Corner. My name is Marcus Salette, and we have been, this is day 3 of our Four More for Life campaign, and we are so glad that you have joined us. Our Four More for Life campaign, 30 Days Toward Change, day 3. And for those of you that are listening live, thank you so very much. But also for those that listen on demand, whether it be on our regular station on SIBNtelevision.com or whether it be on our syndicated stations, Voicecast, Ustream, Blog Talk Radio, iTunes, even YouTube, we want to thank you very much. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Today is day 3. We want to talk about taking inventory. Do you have what it takes for your For More for Life campaign? I'm the coach. Welcome aboard. We are moving. I don't know what happened there. We are moving toward a consideration for change, because we know that 21 days forms a habit. 30 days we go over just a tad bit because of the new year as we consider it coming in, or have considered it having come in already. But we're going to really stretch it to 90 days to ensure that we are moving in the direction, because sometimes the change that you want and the change that you realize, I should say, is not the change that you expected. The change that you realized is not the change that you expected. You remember that time that you broke up with that person that you were so in love with, and after they were gone for a while, you thought about getting back together, and actually you rationalized getting back together. It made sense to you to hook back up, and then you hooked back up, and then it still, again, didn't make sense that you got back together. And so oftentimes the change that we realized is not the change that we expected. And we have to brace ourselves with the 90-day stretch to ensure that we are ready for the change we say we want. Now, sometimes For More for Life seems glamorous, and it seems, it seems impressive to your friends and family. But, to be frank and honest with you, For More for Life campaign simply means For More for Life responsibility, For More for Life impact, For More for Life influence, For More for Life attacks, persecution, and on and on and on. You don't get more in life without getting more of the negative, because, as I always say, that the positive and the negative, they both go together. When people people are around me and they always say, well, I'm just going to keep it positive. That's nice for a blanket statement to impress your friends, but you have to have both positive and negative to have productivity and to have impact. If you're always positive, or if you always expect to get along with someone who is only positive, then you may have a problem, because you're only trying to hang out with, quote unquote, your kind, and you're going to need more than just your kind to grow and to balance in life and to make an impact and have influence on other people. So on this day 3, what we want to talk about is, do we have the tools? Do we have the tools or the resources to run this campaign? Frankly, to be frank, and I want to be very frank and honest with you, most of us cannot afford change, but we cannot afford not to change. And that's the dynamic question that you can answer right there on Spreaker. If you want to leave a note right there on Voicecast, if you're listening on Ustream, thank you very much. If you want to leave it on our Facebook fan page, if you want to leave it right there on YouTube, we have 1,000 places where you can leave. If you want to leave it right there on Twitter, you can do that. But I would like to know, what do you do when you can't afford to change, but you certainly can't afford not to change? You can't afford to change. But you can definitely not afford not to change, or to have no change at all, and risk your life running on default by imposed change from those around you. Imposed change from friends who are always telling you about their sob stories. Imposed change about those friends of yours that always want to impress you. And at the end of a decade, you're sitting around wondering, well, hell, I don't have anything, because, Mary and John, every time I talk to them, they're buying a new car, they moving into a new condo, got a great girl and got a great guy, and, got a raise on the job, Imposed change, suggested change, suggestive change that you don't need. People telling you their sad stories every 5 minutes, dumping on you, blocking your change, stopping up your pipes for change. I felt something right there. If you don't change, would you can assess that you can't really afford it, and I'll talk about that in a minute, but then you can't really go without change, because if you go on default, you're going to have imposed change. So do you have change for $1? You see what I'm saying? You're caught in the thicket here. You're caught in the thicket here. It's either you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. But the fact of the matter is this, that we live in a changing environment, from everything from the physical to the soulish and to the spiritual. We are agents of change, whether we want to accept it or not, and we can be agents of great change. We can be agents of directive change. We can be agents of change that helps us grow. Pause and think about it. Can you afford to change? Probably not. But then when you look at the base of your resources, you may change your answer. I change my answer all the time to yes, because I realize that if you allow culture to define what your resources should be, and if you allow friends and so-called acquaintances to define what your resources should be, which is, contacts and knowing who's who, and being able to get your way, persuade people, and those things are well in their place. But there are deeper resources that you're going to need to win this campaign, because you can run a campaign, but you may not win it. And that's another thing that we may want to bring up even here and right now, is the fact that just because you run a campaign for More for Life doesn't mean you're going to win that campaign. But I can guarantee you and assure you that you will be better for having ran a campaign for More for Life than to have sat down and lived life on default, live life by default. Just because you decide that you're going to stop drinking don't mean you're going to win that campaign. But I believe that the efforts will send prints to your subconscious mind. There's a storm coming, and we can't continue as we are. Just because you got to replace something when you take something. I'll leave that right there. Okay, so for the More for Life campaign is launch. You have to decide to launch it. Then you launch it based on your affordability and based on, as we said on yesterday, your investigation. Is there anything embarrassing gonna come out? Is there anything that's gonna derail the campaign and send votes the other way? Is there anything that's going to take the campaign to a focus that we don't need to have? You ever tried that? You ever tried to change something specific in your life, and because you weren't honest with yourself, something else crept up? Got some English majors out there. Crept up that changed the entire focus of your change campaign, and you never really returned to the campaign that you initiated because you didn't vet. You didn't investigate. You weren't integral in the process. I've done it 1,000 times. I've done it 1,000 times. Why? Because we often think we're open to grow, but we're not. And that's why you're listening. That's why I'm on the microphone. That's why we have the Coach's Corner. That's why we have SIBN Radio. Because our job is to get you to the finish line, to confirm what you hear in your heart and heard in your head that you won't say out loud, so that you can summon, if you will, the angels to take those words of positivity, of truthfulness, of honesty, of integrity, to the place where they can activate those words. Imagine with me, if you will. You have to listen to the podcast probably more than one time, because I can go. I'm just keeping it real with you. This is my job. This is my job to get you to the finish line, and I can go. So just because you run this campaign, we talked about on day 2, hey, have you been vetted? Or are your friends saying everything you want to hear? Have you been vetted? Or are you so in love with your girlfriend, your boyfriend, or your boyfriend and your girlfriend, or your husband and your wife, that you have not even thought about improving yourself consciously, let alone being challenged by the other one to improve yourself and not flatline in the relationship? Have you, talking about day 2, you got to go back and listen to day 2. Have you been vetted? Or is everybody saying everything you want to hear? And so after you realize, and we could go back, and we may do that on the weekend edition, we'll go back and we'll wrap these things up before we go into day 7 or day 6. We're going to wrap days 1 through, we'll wrap whatever we did for this week up into the weekend edition, and go. But I just want you to consider, what are your resources, and would you be wasting resources? And would you be wasting time in your assessment of your resources? Would you be wasting time if you've not had a true integral vetting process? You see, the problem with most people with their For More for Life campaign, because most people want more, and most people want to live, and most people campaign to have more and to keep on living and having a great time. The problem is most of us are not honest enough, and our campaigns for more often is derailed. A campaign for more for life is different than a specific goal of achievement, in my view. To have more for life, to me, it's got to be principle based and not sensual based. And the reason why our lives are up and down and all around and unstable and more a drama for your mama and in and out and all around and up the hill and down again is because we're not principle based in our campaigns in life. You got a campaign for losing weight. Well, I'm not going to lose weight just to look good. I'm not going to lose weight just to look good. That's a good cosmetic reason. That's an end result of my campaign. But I'm going to do this campaign because I want to enjoy the process of change. I want to see what it's like to feel healthier. I want to know what it's like to get up and not have that pain in my thigh. And we all, listen, don't feel bad. We all have campaigns we have not won. I got to say that. Before I go into this key thing that we're going to talk about, that we're going to mention for today. We have let's admit, we have had campaigns for life, for more, for life that we have not won. But the efforts, the energy, the time, the resources that we place toward that effort still count. They still count. You got a campaign. If you got For More for Life campaign to get married, for instance, to fall in love. And you and I both know you have failed. You have lost the presidency on love. You feel what I mean? We're having fun with the political process. You know what I'm saying? We're going to have so much fun. You guys make sure you tell a friend, because we're going to have so much fun. I know I'm serious, but we're going to have a lot of fun. But we have failed in campaigns. I want more love. I want to be married. I want to be single. I want to get rid of this thing here. You know what I'm saying? And you try to, move in with this one, and you try to, drown yourself in your work, and then your hours got cut back, and then you see what I'm saying? So we've lost campaigns. And so it brings me to today's point is this. You've got to take inventory, and that's part of your investigation. But I have news for you. The inventory that you really need to see is not visible to the naked eye. Let me say that again. The inventory that you really need to see in order for you to assess whether or not your campaign for More for Life will be successful are not seen with the naked eye. For example, the assessment and the inventory, I don't have time to talk about them both. You'll have to go to www.sibntelevision.com, click on the social, I can't think of the name of it, but the tab for our social media network. If not, look into the Spreaker radio platform and look in the notes there, the comments there, and you'll see a link to that. And I'll try to put a link also up for those that are listening. But listen, you got to take inventory. The tools that are available to you will not necessarily be visible to the naked eye only. For instance, faith. What do you believe? I don't care where you go in life, how good you feel, how sensual you are, because we have a sensual culture now. You got to have faith in something besides yourself. In fact, in order to have faith in you to do what you can do towards change, it takes faith in the word of someone that has authority above you, who speaks so positive and wholesome regarding you that you can look at those words, echo those words, and become what those words are, which is life. Those words are life. Those words are life. When you have someone around you who believes in you in spite of, who knows you can do better, who cheers you on in spite of what you've been through, that person, words become life to you. So faith, and that's just one. Let me go down the list. Faith, words, talents, thoughts, meditations, plans. You ever thought about getting some blank paper and just drawing out and making some plans? Let's just say for, you want to be married. See, the problem with folk that want to be married, they want more than they're willing to give. And that's why it doesn't work. We're gonna have some shows on relationships. Don't worry. They want to get married, but they want more than they give. And then you have the opposite spectrum: is they give too much too soon. I felt that right there. You give too much too soon. Ain't no more treats. Ain't no dessert. The dessert go before the dinner, and the appetite has been spoiled. I need some help. You need to holler at the coach for that one right there, because my time is almost gone here. Inventory. Beneficial associations is part of your inventory. Beneficial association. Seed time. Sowing. Helping others who can't pay you back. Helping others without looking for something specifically from them in return. Having an understanding. A person that has understanding, oh my God, do you know what understanding costs? The spirit of understanding cost is very, very high. Character, discipline, wisdom. What is in the inventory archives, or what is in the inventory arsenal, if you will, that will make this campaign a winning campaign, so that you could win the presidency of your life, that you could have more character, more influence, more impact? And you got to do an assessment. I have to do an assessment. And the assessment is done consciously and subconsciously. The assessment is done consciously and subconsciously. I got to get out of here. I got to go. Out of your mouth you may say and intend that you're going to assess, but you got to do it in such a way that it becomes a part of your everyday thought process. So I want to encourage you, take inventory. Begin to write it down. Now, if you're going to be lazy, you're going to lose this campaign for More for Life right up front. You're going to lose it. You're going to lose the campaign, and you can't blame nobody but yourself. But if you're going to make this campaign a winning campaign as you assess whether or not you want to run for More for Life for 30 days towards change, I want you to write down what you have in your arsenal that will cause you to win. Is it your faith? Is it your words? Is it your talents? Is it your thought processes? Is it your integrity, your character? Whatever it is, write it down and consider sharing it with us. Follow me if you can. I'll see you next time.